Alright guys, so today we're talking about bore scoring. And this is going to be for pretty much most Porsche models with a flat six engine. What bore scoring is, these engines lay flat, right? It's like a Subaru. They lay flat, the pistons essentially lay on the cylinders. If you don't have the correct amount of oil, the correct weight of oil, or don't change it frequently enough, it could actually scratch and groove the bottom of the cylinders. That'll cause the car to smoke. In extreme cases, it'll cause it to tick or knock as it gets bad enough to where the cylinder gets ovaled and the piston actually starts slapping. It can also make you have rod bearing failure, all kinds of stuff. And I'll give you a perfect case. I was just looking at a Cayman, just like mine. It was an '06, had 60,000 miles on it. And it was at a dealer, and they wanted 12.9 for it. And I was thinking, they even had it in the ad, it has bore scoring. They already looked with the scope, has severe bore scoring. Still ran and drove, but it smoked and knocked. And so we know a few things about this. It used to be you could buy a used 3.4 Cayman S engine for, I would say, $3 to $4 grand, somewhere in that area. And going in at this, I'm looking at it thinking, okay, so if they want 12.9 for the car, you could probably get it for 10. Let's say you get it for 11. And there's not a whole line of people lined up to buy these cars with a bad engine, right? The people that are willing to fix that's pretty narrow at this point. And just to go buy a used engine today versus 6-8 months ago, instead of 3 or 4 grand, it's now 8 to 10 grand. So then you have to weigh out, okay, with 60,000 miles, what's the car worth? At probably a year ago, the car was probably worth $16,000 to $18,000. Now that car is probably worth 30, 29, 30, 31, somewhere in there. So let's say you bought it for 11 and you just bought a engine just to put in it. So you'd have 20 in it if you just bought a used engine off eBay. The issue is, you don't know if you're getting an engine that's any better than what you have or not. It could have bore scoring also. You're just not going to know unless you get it in front of you and run the bore scope on it and look at it and see. That doesn't always tell you. A lot of times it's scratched in the back part where you can't see it with the pistons in it. And so there's that issue. So 20, is it worth 30? It probably is worth 30. It's going to take you a long time to get that out of it. So let's go another direction. So there's services now where you take the case house off your existing engine, and they actually come out, the cylinders come out separately on each bank, right? We'll put a picture up here so you know. And there's services where you send those off, it's like $5,000 to where they take your cylinder bank, each one of them, they cut out those cylinders, machine them out, they put all new sleeves in it, and send it back to you with the correct pistons. 5 grand. Okay. So you got the car here for 11, right? For $5,000 more dollars, you can fix that part of it, right? So you're in at $16,000. Then you have transport fees if you get transported, or if we go get it, it'll be $600 to $800 either way, right? Let's say you're in at $17,000. Then you need gaskets, you need head gaskets, you need pretty much a whole gasket set, which I've seen the L-Ring brand, which is OE brand for that. The whole gasket set with all the O-rings, all the gaskets, everything you need. It was like $500. You pretty much would have to get that, right? 17.5, you're in it. It's 60K, 64K, whatever it had, 64 or 69. You would probably have to go ahead and do water pump, thermostat, while you had the engine out, while you're right there. Like, why wouldn't you, right? You have to go ahead and do that. So at that point in time, you have probably another $300 in it. And so you're getting close to 18 grand in it. While you get the clutch out, you might as well do that. By the time you do the clutch, you're going to be in at 18 grand, maybe a little bit over. And then IMS bearing. While you have the engine all apart, do you replace the IMS bearing? I don't know how much it is for that particular one. I have to look it up. But let's say the time you do that, you do a few other little things. You're getting close to $19,000 in this car if you bought it for 11. Then what you don't think about, we got to send the title off and pay sales tax on it, right? It's about a little over $600 for that. If you need tires and some brakes, some tidbits, any kind of paint touch-up work, you're in at 20 grand. To be real safe, you're in the car 20 grand. Now you're saying, look, fatty, it's worth 30. It is worth 30, but you got to find just the right buyer for 30, right? One of you guys, if you know, I've done everything to it, but this channel isn't that big. There's not a lot of Porsche guys on this channel yet. We converted this from a Toyota channel, so there's a lot of Toyota guys on here, and you see me posting about that sometimes too, different Toyota stuff. That's why. And we probably have 3,000 or 4,000, 5,000 Porsche guys on here, and so it's a pretty small audience. If one of you guys that buy it that knows the history of it, you've seen the videos of it, yes, it might be worth 30. Well, one of those 3,000 or 4,000 people had 30 grand to spend on a car. I don't know. The problem you're up against then is if you have to get a loan for it, it's an older car. In 06, the bank's only going to loan 24, maybe 36 months on that at the most. That's going to have your payments $700, $800, $900 a month on 30 grand. And, you go spend 30 grand. Obviously, you could buy a newer 911 for that, but you can't really. Is it worth it? At that point in time, you could literally drive the car and never have to worry about anything. Like, that's the worst thing that could possibly happen to one. And once you permanently fix that with upgraded sleeves that don't have that problem, as long as you kept the oil changed in it and weren't just torturing the hell out of the thing, that car is good to go for a lifetime, especially at 64,000 miles. You can run that car to 300K with no problem at all. So that is kind of the whole setup of it. Unfortunately, I seen this car Friday, and the way it works, I wasn't interested in it Friday. The way my brain works is I see something, and then over the weekend, when the dealership's closed, you're thinking about it. And our shop's full of cars. We had cars sitting outside. But it's like, that makes some pretty sweet videos doing a rebuild on one of those engines. Because that's the same 3.4 liter a lot of the 911s have in it. Same 3.4 liter a Boxer S has. There's like a lot of variants that has that same engine. And not only that, all flat six engines have scoring problems. So that would show all the water cooled guys that have that problem on any other car, GT3, anything, how to do that job. So they could go fix their GT3 for $5 grand ish, And that would have some appeal to it. How many people that own Porsches are doing that job? Probably not many. Fortunately, in the Porsche community, not a lot of people work on their own cars, but some do. We see that with you guys commenting. A lot of guys do, but a lot of GT3 owners are not working on their own cars. And then we're down to they're going to say, "Hey, I watched your video. My car has bore scoring. When can I send my car to you for you to do that job to?" I don't want to do that job for anybody else, not really. But that's what it leads to. We've seen that with the BMW channel when I did the rod bearings on the M5, and then a whole plethora of people dumping in on me. "Hey, when can I bring my car to you? Where's your shop at?" Well, I don't have a public shop. I have a shop. This is my house. I have a shop in my house. I don't do work for other people. And then you get into all that. If it's something that we'd want to do, like an engine we haven't done, maybe, but then there's liability factors to that too. I could do it on my stuff over and over again, never have a problem. But the way karma works is you try to do somebody else's engine, it blows up, then what? Then you're in a weird spot. So you got to be a little careful of that too. Get that some kind of paperwork signed ahead of time that releases you from any kind of lawsuit if you're working on somebody's car and it grenades itself, whether it's anything to do with you or not. You just don't know. And that's the whole situation. That's my bore scoring expertise. As you can tell, I've been watching videos all weekend on it and doing research all weekend. I thought I'd share with you guys what I found. That's it. It's a big money game, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Have a good day.